This live broadcast of the Spring 2009 Wareham Town Meeting is brought to you by Wareham Community Television and through the generosity of viewers like you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7 o'clock, so we will get ready to proceed, but I do have a technical issue that I have to review, and I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We had some last-minute details we had to go over. Just to go over some of the procedural matters. Everybody should know, but I'll remind the body, all non-voters are required to sit in the center section in the first 3 to 4 rows. I see non-voters sitting up until the 4th row. If you're not a registered voter of the town of Wareham, you need to come down to this section now, please. If everyone will please stand and turn to my right, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few new tellers this evening, so I want to introduce all of our tellers to you. Is Gino Coretti here? Gino. Jack Silva. And 5 Wareham High School student tellers. Is Andrew here this evening? Andrew Kavicki? No. Brianna Rakowski Calvin, please stand. Harold Irving. Kayla Vicino. Is Kayla here? Yep. Leanne McDonald. Is Leanne here? Is Vicki Verrier here? No. And Kayla Betty Wyatt. Because this is the beginning of the 3rd session on the 2nd week of town meeting, I'll ask all of the tellers to please stand and to reiterate their oath. All the tellers, please stand. Raise your right hands. Repeat after me. I state your name. Swear to faithfully execute and uphold the traditions of town meeting. And I will accurately count all votes as part of those duties. Thank you. I remind the tellers that you are only to count voter slips, which this evening are the color blue. The clerk is holding up a slip. Not raised hands. So again, tellers, when you're asked to take a count, please only count the blue slips that are held in a hand. Don't count a raised hand. And I'll now ask the tellers to take the quorum count. So all registered voters, please raise your blue slip. Hold it high until you've been counted. While they're doing that, I'll just remind the body, there's no parking in the fire lanes. If you have parked a vehicle in a fire lane, it would be subject to towing. Please turn off your cellular telephones and pagers or other electronic devices. We do have a number of vacancies on committees, but I wasn't able to get that list. If the Board of Selectmen or somebody could supply me with that, I'll go through that list at some time during the meeting. And I'll go over some of the rules just to remind everyone. This town meeting is concerned with discussing and voting upon those issues contained in the published warrant for this meeting. It will be governed by the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Home Rule Charter, the bylaws of the town of Wareham, the publication entitled Town Meeting Time, Town Meeting Tradition, and my rulings. For clarification, a few rules of the meeting are as follows. 1, to be recognized, a voter must queue up behind one of the 2 stationary microphones And for the sake of simplicity, I'll call this microphone number 1 and this microphone number 2. I will alternate between the 2 microphones to recognize speakers pretty much in the order in which they arise. Anyone who is in a wheelchair or unable to stand for a long period of time, please notify one of the tellers and thus the moderator of your intention to address the body, and I'll do my best to recognize people so identified by the tellers. I'll interrupt my comments. Oh no, we're not quite ready to take the quorum count. Moving the question is a procedure to cut off debate. To make such a motion, one must be recognized by the moderator. No one will be allowed to move the question at the end of a speech. And finally, no motion to move the question will be in order until the moderator determines that all sides have had a fair opportunity to be heard. Motions for reconsideration of a past article will only be allowed if, in the opinion of the moderator, there is new information that was not available to town meeting at the time that the article was originally considered, or if substantial evidence exists that town meeting voters were confused as to the basis or nature of the action which they took at the time that they took their vote. I realize parliamentary procedure can be confusing, and I will do all I can to make sure that everyone understands the proceedings, and I will stop the proceedings when it is appropriate to do so, to make sure that everybody understands where we are in the process. Finally, we must always remember that this is a deliberate and a deliberative body whose function is to debate the issues and to decide those issues by a vote. There is no place in the meeting for discussions of personalities, and no such discussions will be allowed. Are we ready for the quorum count now? Tell it to my right. Is that 69? In the center. Can we bring the volume up on this microphone, please? All right.
129.
129. To my left.
73.
73. There are 271 voters in the hall, which means that we can conduct all business before us this evening. I also remind you that we voted to limit debate to 5 minutes to the proponent of an article and to 2 minutes to each subsequent speaker. However, be advised that this motion may be overridden by a majority at any time during the meeting in order to extend time to any speaker so requesting an extension of time. I also remind you that this body accepted the provisions of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 39, Section 15, which provides that whenever a 2/3 vote is required by statute, such a vote may be declared as such by the moderator without a count and be recorded as such by the clerk upon such declaration, provided, however, that if 7 or more voters doubt the vote, a count will be taken to make a determination as to the actual vote. Let's see, a few other comments on procedural matters in terms of requirements of our charter. I'm required to do a roll call. Administration, Animal Control, Board of Assessors, Accountant, Building Department, Zoning Officer, Inspectional Services, Town Clerk, Collector Treasurer, Community and Economic Development, Conservation, Council on Aging, Data Processing, Emergency Medical Services, Harbor Master Shellfish, Board of Health, Inspectional Services, Library, Municipal Maintenance, Water Pollution Control, Planning, Police Department, Procurement, Purchasing, Recreation Department, Board of Selectmen, School Department. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to rise again. And I ask for a moment of silence, a moment of reflection,